loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we are doing episode 6 of Shop My Shelves, my favourite series that I am doing. My TBR is at like 130... How many books are we at actually? Well, I didn't add in that. So 130 exactly. That is where my TBR is at, and some of these books have been sat on my shelves for a good couple of years. I've been doing different spinner wheels to get some of those books off of my shelves with mixed results. But this month I'm letting myself be a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed. I get to have more of a say in what I'm reading this month because I'm going to be doing a colour wheel. The way I did this colour wheel is to go through the books that are on my TBR and try and pick out the main colour on those covers, and then I added that to the spinner wheel and did it this way. A couple of them, like, it was the only one of that type of colour, so I'm mixing it into, it could be burgundy, so if it lands on red then is kind of the idea. We're just gonna see how it goes. Again, I'm being a little bit more flexible with myself. It's been an interesting time. Last month was meant to be a spooky horror spinner wheel, but I added in thrillers and stuff, which I ended up only getting thrillers. Yeah, it wasn't the best time in terms of books read. I had one that I really liked and then the rest not so much. Anyway, I've been waffling on. I think we need to spin the wheel, so thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you have any ideas of different things that you would like to see going forward, of different spinner wheels or challenges for these sort of videos, always feel free to put those in the comments below. But okay, I think what I need to do first is shuffle this up. So, okay, that is... Wait, why is blue green? Hang on a minute, let me change blue to actually being green. Like, no, let me change the blue to blue. There we go. We're gonna shuffle up again because... just because. I don't know what I'm doing with this intro. Like, we're just gonna spin. Because I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what colours I want, to be quite honest. I just want to read a good book. So we're gonna give this a try. What do we got? Pink. Okay. That, actually, I'm very happy with. There is a specific book that is pink that is on my TBR that I'm excited about. Okay, it's got pink element. Oh, we love you, bunny. Oh, I'm so excited. So there is quite a bit of pink. Obviously, it's primarily dark blue, but I feel like there is enough pink to justify it that I can use it for the pink. I think what I'm gonna do is, for the next spin, we'll take off pink, and so then we can do it like that. I think that's the idea. I'm so pleased that this one came up. I'm actually currently in the middle of filming my Stephen King vlog, which is coming out after this video. So I feel like this is going to be a really good book just to mix up what I'm reading. I'm going to be reading 2 Stephen King books, and rather than reading like 2 of them back to back, I can like mix up a little bit of what I'm reading, which is going to be great. Does any of this make sense? Part of me is like, I want to refilm this intro. I'm just having one of those weird filming days where I'm like, my words aren't wording, but at the same time, I'm so happy with this that I don't want to chance the spinner wheel changing on me. So we're just gonna stick with it, and if it's really like messy intro, I'm really sorry, but I'm really excited to be reading this one. This one is the prequel / continuation of Bunny. So Bunny by Mona Awad, I reread it in October, 5 stars, absolutely love that book. This is the bunnies in that book, their reaction to Bunny. So in Bunny, oh my god, I've said Bunny so many times, but in the book Bunny, we are following Samantha, and she is attending this really elite academy, Warren University, and she is really jealous and also kind of hateful towards this group. It's a writing group, and she is always on the outcast. So there's only 4 of them in it, and 3 of them are always calling each other Bunny. They're in like this little clique, and Samantha simultaneously hates yet wants to be a part of it so freaking desperately. And we start seeing what happens when they invite Samantha in. And now this is their take on what happened, on the build up to the things that happen in Bunny. So I'm so excited to be reading this. Like, I am expecting this to be just another 5-star read. I'm genuinely so excited. This is what I mean by I'm giving myself quite leniency, because this has not been on my TBR for long. Like, this is a new release. It is on my November TBR as well. And normally my spinner will, like the Shop My Shelves game, they never give me books that are on my TBR for the month. They always give me books that have been sat on my shelves for absolutely years, or just books that I wouldn't have got to anytime soon. So this is what I mean by I'm making this episode quite easy on myself, but I'm so excited to read this. Like, I'm gonna get started on this, be spinning at least once more, and we'll go from there. I always try and do at least 2. Most of the time I end up spinning like 3 or 4 times because I end up DNFing books. I will be genuinely devastated if I DNF this book because I'm expecting a 5-star read. Anyway, right, I really need to stop waffling on. I need to do some food. I've got a few little bits I need to do before work, and I'm just so excited. Should we read the first sentence together? Hi, bunny. That's it. That's the first sentence. Hi, bunny. It's ridiculous how excited that makes me. Like, I love bunny so much. It is probably slightly concerning, but okay. I'll see you when I've actually started. Expect this to be annotated to death because, yes, this could just, yeah. Since I started this video, I can't believe it's taken me this, like, genuinely, I was so delusional to think that I would have this book finished before I was like going on holiday and doing things. Like, I am genuinely in Delulu land. I started it, I read the first 40 pages, was falling in love with it, annotating it like crazy, and then realised I am way behind on about 3 other videos, so had to put this one on hold. And now I finally had the time to pick it back up again. So I am up to chapter 8, page 112. And look, can you see the tabs? Will it show you? Do we see the craziness? If you can't tell, I'm loving this so freaking much. I'm just gonna stay from the start. I can understand why some people are not going to like this book, but this is exactly the thing that I was wanting. Chapter 8, we've already had perspectives from pretty much everyone. We're currently in the Duchess's perspective, and I'm loving it. So what they've done, we've got the bunnies coming together. They've kidnapped Samantha. Samantha's doing this book tour, and they've kidnapped her, tied her up, gagged her, and gone, right, you're gonna listen to our version of the story, because what do you mean you published this book about us? Decimated our lives as a result. They feel so creatively destroyed by what Samantha has done, and they are angry, and this book is dripping with anger, and I love it. I am in love with this. The annotations are extensive to the point where I had to keep a note of what my annotations, like the tabs were and everything, because again, I took a week break. This is brilliant. So first of all, loving how this has been formatted, that we're getting each bunny having a chance to say their piece, and it's starting before the events of Bunny, the first book by Mona Howard, and it's so good. It's so well done. Like, oh god, I'm loving it so much. The thing is, like, they're interrupted. I'm sorry, this update is going to be a little bit chaotic because I haven't written down my thoughts yet. I'm also a little bit tired because I've been on an early shift, and I'm loving this book so much, so I'm a little bit incoherent. We're gonna try and keep it concise. I can't promise that's gonna happen, so bear with me. But the way it's formatted is we have them, like I said, they've kidnapped Samantha, they've got her tied up, and they're all going to say their piece. And what they've done is they've made a pact that they can't interrupt each other, that they are going to allow each other to say their truth. And that's what's happening, except they are starting to interrupt each other. So we first of all get Coraline, or as the book says, Cupcake's POV, and she gets to say her side of the story, and it's all done in second person, so it's all as if it's being addressed right to you, which I love. I love second person narrative. It makes me feel so invested in the story. I'm pulled into the story. It's such a good way of just directly involving the reader. Again, I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I love it. It's my favorite thing. But yes, so we've got Cup, and she's narrating the story. She's saying, I don't like what you did here, and things like this. Then she starts going off on a bit of a, like, she starts getting more angry, more emotional, more invested in it all, and then she gets cut off by Creepy Doll, and Creepy Doll goes, okay, hang on a minute, that's enough from you. We said we were telling the truth and you're just going off on lies. And that's what they keep doing to each other. So they'll let each other talk for a little while, and then somebody will interrupt next and interrupt again. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it because you're seeing, okay, you know what, let's go through the tabs. I think that's going to be the best chance of being cohesive, and then anything I feel I need to add on at the end, that is what I can do. So the tabs, we've got this dark dark blue, and this is for all of the references back to Bunny the book. Orange is for references to literature and also the process of like writing, which is something I did in Bunny as well. Again, there's lots of references to different stories. One that is picked up on a lot in here is Red Riding Hood and Alice in Wonderland. They keep being spoken about, but also there was commentary about poetry. We see the girls interact with the poet majors, animosity between the poets and the fiction writers, and they are kind of butting heads a little bit, and the girls that we're in comments on how they don't really like poetry and what it does, and it just sums it up in a brilliant way. Let me grab the quote actually, because that was a good quote. A reaction. That's all poets want. To fuck with you immediately and irreversibly. Forget plot. No journey or catharsis through narrative. No. They go right for the jugular with their word art and leave you bleeding. I kind of have to admire them for this. As it's like just like little quotes like that about writing and references to other work is all on orange. Then green. Green, I started off with something different and now I have changed it. So I started off because in Cupcake's POV she does a lot of self-harm. She struggles with body image a lot, and a lot of that is put on her by her mother, and you start seeing bits of that throughout her perspective. I wanted something that wasn't just for her perspective but across the whole book. Otherwise I feel like there would be so many different coloured tabs that I was just like, I can't be having something like this. So what I ended up changing it to, and something that I feel is more fitting for this book, because I mean, don't get me wrong, that is a big conversation in this book. Mona Awad is doing her usual. She is criticising society, she is criticising how Cupcake's been forced, I'm going to use all of those because they're the names in Bunny. Coraline is forced into this book by her mum, and how she feels so lost in herself, and the only way she feels like she has control over herself is through things like that. So there is lots of conversation around that, but I did change the green tab to obsession, and the line between love and hate, and how the bunnies don't seem to differ between that. They all love each other and hate each other in equal measures, and that really comes through in the book. This obsession that they have for one another, and how fast this obsession came about, and then how that ends with this cult-like behaviour with them. And so that's all kind of being tabbed by green. That could be broken down into so many things that I think could definitely be explored so much, but I'm already tabbing like crazy. It would just be covered, absolutely covered. Like Bunny, there is so much that you can pull apart in this book. I haven't even done a tab for the comments on society and elitism and things like that. There is so much to pull apart from each of the perspectives. Each of them are going through their own different things, and it's just so well done. But I decided to pick a main thing, and that is what I focused on with the green. And then purple for quotes that I love, and then pink for what is actually real. Because they're all accusing each other of lying, of saying things that aren't quite true, and events that are being described, well, they're slightly different depending on who's telling it, and that's all really interesting as well. They do tend to overlap like the first like few paragraphs when the next person starts speaking to clarify what was just said and how that wasn't really true, and then they carry on with the narrative and carry on in terms of the timeline. I'm loving this book, okay? I am absolutely loving it. I'm loving all the commentary that is in here. There is, like I say, so much that you can pull from it, and I really, really enjoy it. One thing I will say though, so I read 60 pages of this book today, and I don't want to read more than 60 pages at a time, at least at the moment, because there is so much that I'm pulling from this book. I think what I'm going to do is spin again to have a lighter book to read alongside it. Otherwise, this video will just be me reading We Love You Bunny, and that's absolutely fine. But I want a bit of variety. Now, I do technically have a bit of variety. I have started reading The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman, because I'm buddy reading this with Christina. We're reading 50 pages a day. This is my before bed book. But I just want a third book. I'm in the mood to have multiple books on the go. Let's spin on the colour wheel, and we're going to go for something, I was going to say short, easier to read, but I guess it depends on the colour we get. So, I don't even know what colour I want. I think doing it like this just makes me go, wait, what colour are all my books again? I don't know. So I have no idea. I mean, I know I've got a lot of white and black, but I guess we'll see. Ooh, okay, light blue. Okay, so we'll remove that from the list. Let's go have a look for a light blue book. This angle is always so hard for me to do. But light blue, I'm not really seeing anything there. I've already read For Your Own Good, so I'm not gonna do that. On this shelf, ooh, I do have this Agatha Christie, which is light blue, and I think this is the reason why I put light blue on the spinner wheel. The next book in the Agatha Christie Miss Marple series that I need to be reading, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side, so I could do that, which honestly would work for a bit of a lighter read, but I will have a quick scan for anything else. Record of a Spaceborne Few has some lighter blue patches, but I guess if we're being honest with ourselves, the other one is a lot more light blue. So I do have one that's kind of squirreled away here. This is an advent calendar for my nephew that I've just got shoved to one side. But Girls by Annette Schaap. This is a middle grade short story collection. So that could be an option. I mean, it's a darker blue than the Agatha Christie, which now my camera doesn't want to focus on. Or from this little section here, I do have Mood Indigo, which has a lot of light blue, and this is a very weird book. I'm expecting it to be so unusual. I think what I might do is put a poll up on Patreon and get them to vote between the three. Got the three books, I'm gonna put them up for vote. The range of blue, the light blue, it worked. And I guess if just the standard blue came up, this would actually work for that, but we're here now. So these are the three that are gonna be voted on, and I was thinking about them, and honestly, all of them would be great to be reading right now. I don't know what's happened to my lighting. I feel like I've gone very orange. Agatha Christie's Mirror Cracked from Side to Side, the next book in the Miss Marple series that I really need to be continuing on with. I meant to have read so much more Miss Marple than I have this year, and I'm kind of gutted that I've fallen behind in that. So I wouldn't be mad about reading this one, even though I am already reading a murder mystery on the side. I think I'd still enjoy reading this. I'm definitely getting back into wanting to read my murder mysteries. Girls is a Dutch short story collection that's written by Annette Schaap that's been translated by Laura Watkinson, and it's a middle grade short story collection that's fairy tale retellings, which I feel would be a perfect pairing with We Love You Bunny, because in We Love You Bunny, one of the girls in particular is obsessed with fairy tales, and so that would be a perfect pairing, I feel like. And then we have a French translated book by Boris Vine. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm definitely mispronouncing that. It's translated from French by Stanley Chapman, and it's Mood Indigo, and this is meant to be a very surreal, unusual book. I really wanted to read it in the summer, I just never got round to it. So I do want to read it, but I'm also not sure about having two weird books back to back, but I am gonna leave it up to them. I'm gonna do emojis, so they're not gonna know what the books are. They will have until tomorrow, till about midday, to choose what I'm reading, because then I'll pack it and bring it to work with me, and I'm intrigued to see what gets voted on. I do want to read all three of these. I have to admit, probably none of these I would have picked up anytime soon if it wasn't for the spinner wheel, so that's amazing. Okay, right, I'm gonna do that poll and I will catch up with you when I've started this, continued on with We Love You Bunny. Like, it's just been a really good reading time. I have to admit, as much as I have fallen behind where I wanted to be, I am having a grand time with my reading this month. Like, it's been a really solid month so far, so can't complain. Honestly forgotten that this filming area even existed. Like, this is a cute little corner, and I just tend to always film over there now, on the floor or standing up and stuff, and I just looked at this area and I was like, been a while, we should use you. It's very nice. This is my like little fantasy corner, and I think that's also why I haven't been filming in here as much, because I just haven't been reading anywhere near as much fantasy. But that is not the video for this. Let's chat about the books. Honestly, this is going to be a quicker update because I can't talk to you too much about what's happened. I read a really good chunk of this yesterday, We Love You Bunny. I'm now up to chapter 14, page 278. I've got 200 pages of this book left to go, and I'm loving it. Part 2, I can't tell you anything about. I'm not going to give you a single detail about anything because it's so good, but it would spoil both this book and Bunny, and so I'm not going to. Just know that I've added in a whole other tab. We've now got 6 tabs going on. Some of the conversations that are being brought up, which primarily revolves around self-identity, morality, and just a few other things that I can't get into details of because I really don't want to give any spoilers for it. I think it's brilliant. I love it so much. It's added a whole extra layer that I think this book needed, and I'm so happy with it. 5 stars. It is going to be an easy 5-star read. I've still got 200 pages to go, but I'm loving this book. And where I was like, I only want to be reading like 60 pages a day and stuff, like yesterday I read, I think it was closer to 100 pages, mainly because I was on trains. I love reading on a train. I don't know what it is, but I had time to kill because both my trains in both directions, going and coming back, were delayed. Not by too much, thankfully. Going there, it was delayed by about 20 minutes, and then coming back, my train got cancelled at Reading, so I had to get off the train, wait for the next train, which was packed, and it was all, honestly, such a mess. But it just meant I was about half hour delayed, which honestly isn't, I will take that for a win. I know what trains are like it can be bad. So I was quite happy with just having a 20-minute and a half-hour delay, so that's fine. But it meant I read loads. So yeah, I just really had an amazing time, and the amount of like underlining, and I've been doing annotating on the side, and it's just so good. I'm enjoying this so much. Like the first part, as I said, like it was exactly what I wanted from this book, and then part 2 gave me something that I didn't know I wanted, but it's excellent, and I'm just like, yes. This adds a whole other layer to the book. I think it works really, really well for it. I'm having an amazing time, so 5 stars, but that is all I can say about it. Unfortunately, like I said, quick update for this one, but I have started reading Girls. So this is the one that won the poll. This is the poll that I used, and for Girls I used a wolf that's on the cover, and then there's a frog on the spine. So that's kind of what I did. For Mirror Cracked Side to Side, I did a mirror with a knife, and then the last one was, oh, the flower book. And I did a flower with a blue heart because I didn't know what to do for that one. But yeah, Girls one, I am enjoying this one a lot actually. So I've read 2 short stories. I'm breaking it down so I read 1 short story per day. So far the second story has been my absolute favourite, which was Wolf, and I thought that was brilliant. This one I feel like there is so much that you can take from it. So this is a middle grade collection, so it is written for children, and I think the way the fairy tale quality of it is done, perfect. I really, really like it. But I feel like this second story, there was so much that you could pull from it that really looks at how we as humans have treated the natural world. Let me actually clarify my thoughts a little bit better, because again, I didn't write it down. Honestly, I need to get back into that. I find it really does help, especially for doing an update. This book, it's basically a take on Red Riding Hood for the second one. We're seeing the wolf, instead of being running free through the woods, instead we're seeing how he's got a contract with humans that he has to stay within this very, very small area. He gets fed animals, like dead animals and stuff, on the fact that, well, you're not going to be attacking anything anymore, and they're like, you know, we're really happy to have you in our world, but you have to adhere to our rules. And it's how humanity is trying to enforce all of these rules that are just not natural to the natural world, and we do encroach in on their spaces and things. So yes, this was aimed at children, but I feel like there is so much that can be said around this that I really, really appreciated. So I thought it was brilliant, and I do like how each of the tales that I've read, so the 2 that I've read, they are taking the classic fairy tale and then putting a spin on how the girl can just save herself, and I think it's really good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's brilliant. I think the second one, yeah, was the best. The way it was written, like it was a little bit darker, which I expect from a fairy tale, having those important conversations around how we treat animals and the natural world, and then yeah, just the way we kind of do act as if we're God in a way, of being able to decide what lives and what dies and stuff through our actions. And I'm just like, you know, I don't agree with any of that, but I think this book did it really well, and I really, really enjoyed that. So I'm going to carry on reading 1 short story per day. This doesn't take long either, because it's all got beautiful illustrations in. So like, let me get one that's, yeah. So like this one, which is the cover art. Each story has its own little illustrations. Some of them are really tiny, and then you get some bigger ones like this, and I just think it's all done really well. So they're really, really quick to read, but they really get their point across, and I like seeing the inspirations from the fairy tales. The first one was following a girl that is spinning straw into gold, and I thought that was a really good story as well. So yeah, I'm excited to continue reading this. 1 per day is great, but crazily I'm feeling like I want to spin again on the wheel. This has been going so well. So far everything that I've chosen I've really enjoyed, so I would love to spin again, but I'm thinking to choose choose something short, because I think where I've only got 200 pages of We Love You Bunny left, I mean, it's Wednesday now. 5 short stories, reading 1 today as well. I'm going to have that done on the weekend for the girls. We Love You Bunny, I imagine I'm going to get that done in the next 2 to 3 days because I'm enjoying it so much. So I would have the weekend to be able to pick up a short little book. So we're going to spin again and hope that the colour lands on a smaller book. So I have 2 in mind. I did have 3 and then realised pink's not on the wheel anymore, so I'm going to grab them. So if pink was still on the wheel, I would have gone with Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson, but it's not on the wheel anymore, so I can't choose that one. Black comes up, then Follow Me to Ground is a book I've been meaning to read for a while, and it's a nice little short one, and this one's by Sue Rainsford. And then white, I've got The Hunter by Julia Lee, which again has just been sitting on my shelves for a while, so I thought it would be really good if we can get another spin and choose a short book. That would be really good, because I don't know, I love having some short books on my shelves. I think they're really handy to have, especially for things like the Relax and Readathon that I do and stuff like that, but I find they do just sit on my shelves for ages because I'm always like, well, I won't choose you yet, because you're really handy if I'm taking part in a readathon and I need a quick short book or something like that. Never do it. So I would like to spin again and hope that we get a colour that works with a book that's 200 pages or less. Let's see what we get. I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit silly spinning again, but I guess if I don't finish the book, it's fine. At least we would have started it, and this is just going so well. Like, this has been the strongest shot my shelves, but I think that's because I've had more freedom to choose whatever I feel like. But oh no, another blue? Damn, I don't think I've got another blue. Oh wait, I think I can make this work. What about In the Company of Witches? Because again, this is a shorter book. I will have another little quick browse, but shorter book. We've got blue on the back and the front here. And this is 315 pages, but it is like little pages, so I feel like this won't take too long to read. So that is one option. The other option for blue, I guess I could do, would be The Floating Hotel. So this was up for vote on my TBR game for November. If you don't know, every TBR game that I always have at least one prompt where I have 2 books and I get you to vote. This one didn't win, but this one's also a quick short book and it's under 300 pages. This is also one that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep on my shelves. I don't know, I've heard some mixed things around it. I picked it up because it was cozy sci-fi, meant to be like little mysteries. It's not murder mysteries, it's like everyday mysteries on this hotel that's spaceship. But I don't know, because I have already read a book by this author, or attempted to, and didn't really get on with it. So I'm not actually sure if I'm going to like this book or not, which is why I keep putting it off. So I feel like, I mean, obviously this would work really well for blue as well. So I don't know whether I should go for this one instead. Like, I really want to read this one. I think I'm going to absolutely love it, but this one I'm not sure if I'm going to like, which could then possibly end up being an unhaul. I don't know. Let me have another look in case there's anything else that's a little bit shorter than these that's also blue. Yeah, the only other one would be The Imposium, which I do really want to read. This one's also just under 300 pages. No, it's just over 300 pages, and I do really want to read this one, but I want to take my time and annotate this one and stuff. Like, it's one that I started and then put down because I wanted to give it a lot more focus than what I could at the time. I don't know, I feel like this really put a spanner in the works for what I wanted, because I really wanted something shorter than 200 pages, and neither of these are doing that. The thing is, right, very much I would just spin again. Like, I really want to, but also I've never done that. I've never given myself like a free spin. Maybe that's something I could implement. Maybe I can have one free spin in every 5 episodes. So like, say, because this is episode 6, right? So maybe do one spin that I can skip in every 6 episodes. I feel like I do want to, because I really wanted to read one of these two. I'm not gonna lie, I really want to read one of these. We could always spin again, see what the colour is, and then go between those two, and I allow myself that once every 6 episodes of this, because normally I'm really good. I just stick to whatever it's spun. We're gonna do it, why not? It's my game, I can make up the rules. I need to, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to take out blue. Okay, well, it landed on blue again. I'm gonna take that out this time. Okay, we're gonna remove blue, spin again, see what it gives me, and then we'll see. If it works with one of the other 2 books I want, great. If it doesn't, then we'll go with the blue. Maybe. We'll see. We're just gonna see. I'm gonna give myself 2 options and we're gonna see. Oh my god. This is crazy. I should not have done this today. Are we kidding me? Are we actually kidding me? Okay, well, the spin didn't matter because it wants blue either way, and yeah, both of these technically we could go with dark blue as well. Why did I put 3 versions of blue on my colour wheel? I should have just left it as blue. I think I did it to pad out the spinner wheel. This is where I always trip up on my game. Okay, so it's gonna be one of these two books. Probably just starting it, we'll see how far we get in, and I'm just gonna base it on mood, which one I choose out of these two, once I've finished We Love You Bunny, and then I can decide which one I'm feeling. Honestly, the one time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let myself skip, it chooses blue again anyway. The one time I was gonna do it. Clearly that's the universe going, nope, that's not allowed. Respins are not allowed. I will catch you in a few days, probably when I finish We Love You Bunny, and then we will decide which book out of these two I'm gonna go for. Honestly, I feel like if I don't do this one now, it's gonna wait until next year, so I am leaning more towards this one. I'm gonna go. I've got another video to film, I want to do some food, and I've got work, so I'll catch you in a bit. I finished We Love You Bunny and 5 stars. 5 stars. I loved this book. I thought it was brilliant. I loved the themes that were explored in this book. Not that I can go into it in too much detail because it will give away lots of spoilers and stuff, but I can just say creativity and reality are 2 things that are explored a lot within this book. There's so much I want to talk about, but I'm having to do it so vague. So hopefully this kind of makes sense a little bit. If not, then I apologize, but I just don't want to give away any spoilers. So this book is like a book within a book, which I loved that concept. Let me be critical actually first. There is a lot of repetition in it, and because of that repetition, there are definitely segments that could have been taken out. And so if I was thinking about this really critically, I would say this is probably closer to like a 4-star read. However, as I've been saying recently in like various different videos, I think enjoyment has to play a part of a star rating, and my enjoyment for this book, what it did for me, I really loved, hence the 5-star. But I can see I mean, it's not a perfect book, and that's absolutely fine. For me, it was great. It was everything that I wanted it to be, but I just thought I'd mention it. It does get a bit repetitive. This is going to be a very divisive book for a lot of people, not only because like it's second person narrative the whole time, but stylistically there are certain parts of this book that just get, honestly, it's different. I haven't read anything quite like it, which I really enjoyed. Also, some of the scenes that are happening towards the end, wild, absolutely wild, and I know for some people that's going to maybe be too much or something, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Really enjoyed the weirdness of this book. I really enjoyed how at the end of it I did have to sit with my thoughts for a while and really question what I had just read. What was the meaning behind all of this? Is there a meaning behind all of this? And what do I think it all meant and things? And I really enjoy a book that can make me do that. I mean, this book made me want to reread Bunny, reread this book itself, and also read some books on philosophy and what is reality, and I love a book that can do that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. For me, I feel like this book went in 2 different ways that you could take the story, and when I finished the book I landed on, okay, I think it's doing this. Again, I'm not going to get too into because the spoilers and stuff, but it made me then want to reread Bunny so that I can see it from a different perspective. For anyone that watched the vlog where I was rereading Bunny, I said how this book could be taken in a couple of different directions, and I followed one direction, but I could easily reread this book and annotate it from a completely different point of view. That would also work really well. Upon completing We Love You Bunny, I would want to go through and annotate it from the other perspective, and I think that would be great. I mean, look at these books. They are annotated to high heaven, like this is crazy, and I'm already saying I want to go through and annotate from a different lens with both of these books. It's insane, but I love a book that can do that. I love how I'm going to be able to read these books, and depending on where I'm at in my life or different things that are going on, I'm going to take different things from these books, and I love it for that. I would say We Love You Bunny I don't think is quite as good as Bunny. I still loved it. I loved what it was doing. So there are parts of We Love You Bunny which I prefer more than Bunny, but I think as an overall book, Bunny is just that little bit better, but I still love them both so much. I think they're great. I mean, this is definitely not going to be a book for everyone. Bunny is not a book for everyone. They're really weird books, and by nature a weird book is going to be divisive. I mean, everything's divisive when we think about it. Everyone's got different opinions, and that's what's great about it. But I will say, when I finished reading this book, I did have to sit with my thoughts for a while. I wrote wrote in my little journal that I have specifically for just brain dumping thoughts about books as I'm reading them, use that a lot for this book, because there's so much going on. There are so many things that I just had to like sit with my thoughts and be like, how do I feel about this? What do I think is going on here? And it was great. I loved it for that. So sometimes when I finish a book and I think it's going to be a very divisive one, a very much a Marmite book is what I like to call it, I will then have a look at different star ratings of the book. This doesn't impact my star rating in the slightest, but I just find it interesting to see where people sit on the fence with this. I was reading a 1-star review and it made me think that maybe I should do one of those fun little videos where people like you react to 1-star reviews of some of your favorite books. Like, I find them quite entertaining to watch. Not a new idea, loads of people have done it. You'll have to let me know if you'd actually be interested in that sort of thing. But I read a 1-star review and it made me laugh, because the start of the review, I mean, it was a hench review, but the start of the review, the first sentence of it was, if this book had you in a chokehold, you're dumb. And I was like, what? How can you tell someone that they're dumb for something that they enjoy? Like, what? That's so kind of aggressive in a way. Like, how can you turn around and dictate, well, if you enjoyed this, you're dumb? What? I don't understand that, because everyone's got different opinions, and that's a good thing. Like, I'm not gonna say that because I love this book, if you didn't, well, you're dumb. That doesn't make sense. I also am very much a person that really dislikes people that will comment on I've never had it, which is lovely. I think I'm very lucky because all of you are absolutely amazing and so supportive, and I've never had anyone be like negative towards things. But I have seen it with other creators where they haven't enjoyed a book and someone just goes to them, well, you just didn't understand it. It's like, or they just didn't like it. And that's fine. Not everybody has to enjoy the same books. I mean, life would be so boring if we all liked the same things. And how do you progress? How do you, you need to have different opinions to be able to progress in life, I think. Like, if you only ever surround yourself with people that agree with your opinion, you are never going to grow as an individual. So I don't understand that. Like, it baffles me. So to see this review and that was the first line, I was just like, are you okay? Because I personally don't understand that. And then later in the review it goes on to say about how much they hated Bunny, and I'm like, then why are you reading the next book? Because this one is like an odd one, because it's a sequel to Bunny, but it's also a prequel to Bunny. It takes place after, but the story that they're telling is before. So, you know, you need, in my opinion, you should have read Bunny before you read this. I think that there's so much that is referenced in here back to Bunny that I think you would be even more confused than what you're already going to be with this book if you don't read it first. That's just my opinion though. Obviously, if you don't want to read Bunny and you want to go for it. It doesn't matter. You will get spoiled for Bunny. Again, like, I mean, I do that with some series by accident, to be fair, but I've done, and it's not always bothered me, so that's fine. I would just say for context, it's better to read this one first. I don't understand, like, if I actually do understand if you're reading a book and you really didn't like it, but there was one particular thing that you're like, oh, if this gets expanded upon, I could really like the next book. And so you try the next book in that hope. I don't understand if you do not like anything about the book that you've read, why you would then read the next book that's set in that same world, same series. That to me is baffling. But also it's interesting. Like, I would love to know if you are that sort of person that would do that. I would love to know why. Is it because you want to see if it can be improved and things like this? Like, I would love to know, because that's just so different to me. So like, I am someone that really doesn't like The Will of the Many, which is a massive book that got so popular. I was really confused. I thought I was reading a completely different book to everybody else. But I'm not going to say that your opinion is wrong. My opinion's not wrong for not liking it. Your opinion's not wrong for liking it. Like, that is what we are as humans. Like, we're all different. So, yeah. Anyway, if you would be interested in that, then feel free to let me know. But I will say, I don't know if I'm the most entertaining person to do things like this, because most of the time I would just be like, why are we having a moan at people for liking a book? Like, that seems really silly. So I don't actually know how interesting that will be. But anyway, back to the point, I loved this book. It was great. I can't talk to you more about it, but it has made me want to reread both, and I just loved it. I really enjoyed this. So that was amazing. 5 stars. I did also pick up the new special edition hardback of Bunny, which, okay, yes, I've already got the paperback, but I mean, look, this is just so stunning. I love it. I love this edition so much, and like the end pages and everything. Like, it's just, yeah, I kind of had to. And now I have like a matching set because they're both hardbacks, which is, yeah, I'm really happy. I don't know if I would annotate in this one, because if I put the tab, like, I would write in it, yes, but the tabs, I don't know, because that would really mess up this. But I would happily write in it, because I don't mind about things like that. I love write. If I'm enjoying a book, I will write in it. I don't know if I would tab it, because then it would ruin the stenciled edges. Regardless, I loved it. I just, yeah, great, brilliant. 10 out of 10. So that's my thoughts on that, which I'm very pleased with. So that's been a great first finish to this episode of Shop My Shelves, and I am really adoring my Bunny collection. This is great. I love it so much. Moving on from that, I did also, shall we carry on with the book haul? I did also get 2 other books. We've got Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher, the newest T. Kingfisher book, and then also Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldry. I'm excited for both of these. I mean, T. Kingfisher, one of my favourite authors, and this one is just going to be a cozy fun time, and I'm just looking forward to it. So these, it's funny to think that the Poland vlog was me going, I don't like new fantasy books. But I do have a caveat of, unless it's certain authors. So certain authors, I will continue to read whatever they put out. And this one I'm really excited for, because I think I'm going to love the characters that we're following. But yeah, anyway, this is my little book haul. Carrying on with the updates, going to try and speed things up a little bit, because every single one of these clips has been really long. Like, editing it is going to take forever. But girls, I've only read 1 short story. I'm a short story behind when I said I was going to be reading 1 per day, but also I'll still get it done in time, so I'm not worried. I've read 1 more short story in this. This was called Biscuits, and it was based on Hansel and Gretel. I liked this one. I thought it was good. This one also made me a little bit sad, because it's a modern day twist on Hansel and Gretel, and that's something that I've been really enjoying about this collection, is that we've got fairy tales that, you know, we know, but are just done with that modern twist, which I really appreciate. And the girls are always saving themselves in this, which I love. This one was a shame though, because they shouldn't have had to. So in this one, we've got their mother dies. The father, he becomes so distant, he becomes so caught up in work, he forgets to look after his 2 daughters. And so now they're having to fend for themselves. And yes, they do it, but the way it ends, you know this is going to happen again. Understandable, because he's dealing with grief, but you have 2 daughters. So it's just a shame, because it forced the girls to grow up a lot faster than what they should have. It forced them to be responsible when the parent should be responsible, and that's something I've always got a soft spot for. It sucks to have your childhood taken away because you're having to be responsible for something that you should not be responsible for. Yeah, this book, that's what this book was about, and I'm just like, yes. Those girls did it. Yes, they pulled through. Yes, they looked after themselves and they saved themselves, which is, you know, that's so strong and amazing. At the same time, they should never have had to, and that's what makes it a little bit sad. But I love this book, because if you can do a response like that, I think it's really well done. So I've been enjoying all of these. I think they're really good. I've just been having a great time. So eventually I am going to do a short story collection recommendation video, because I do feel like short stories get slept on a little bit, but I think something like this, especially if you're like me and you like seeing retellings and reimaginings of different fairy tales and classics and things that are just done with a modern twist for a younger audience, I would actually argue anyone can read this book. Like, I'm really fussy. I don't tend to like much middle grade, but this is working really well. It's also reminded me a little bit of a short story collection that I read last month that I buddy read with Danny, which was 50 Beasts and Where to Find Them. And some of the stories in that had a very similar, like, they weren't, not all of them were based on actual fairy tales, but they had that same fairy tale quality to the writing with different things that they were commenting on, and that's what this book is doing, is commenting on various different things within society but making it for a younger audience, and I think it's great. I'm really enjoying that, so I will be continuing. And then to quickly wrap up this update, I know what I'm reading next, mainly because my partner chose for me. I was like, I don't know what to read, and he chose this one, In the Company of Witches by Aurora Wallace, and I feel like actually this is probably the better one to go for. Because I've just had a 5-star read, and I am a little bit hesitant of this book just because, I mean, for all the reasons I've already said, I'm not going to go into it again. I think that as a result, it's probably better I go into one that I'm thinking I'm just going to enjoy more. Like, I don't have loads of expectations beyond it's going to be cozy. So I feel like that should be a good win for me. Whereas if I go into something that feels a little bit disappointing, coming off the back of a 5-star read could send me into a bit of a book hangover, which I don't really want. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one on the back burner, but yeah, this is the one we're gonna be starting. So I will come in and update when I've actually read and made progress with this book. I'm just hoping it's the cozy book that I'm really looking forward to, and yeah, I mean, if it delivers on that, we're going to be having a good time. But right, I've got another video to film and I've already been talking for almost 20 minutes again. I love just being able to chat to you, and I like it when I've had a book that can really make me just want to tell you everything, want to discuss certain scenes and be like, what do you think this meant, and all of this stuff, and I can't because that's all spoilers and stuff, but I love it. Anyway, right, okay, I'm gonna go and I will catch up with you when I've made some progress. Honestly, this episode's going so well. I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's been a really positive episode. Even if I realised, you know, why did we have so many blue spaces? We could have just done one, but never mind. Progress with In the Company of Witches. I'm now 2/3 of the way through. I'm up to page 205, chapter 29. I've got about 110 pages to go. This is such an easy read. I'm really enjoying it. We're following a main character called Bryn. Unfortunately, her husband's passed away, so she's moved back in with her aunts who own this B&B. Her aunts very much give the Spellman sister vibes from Sabrina. It's just so fun. Like, they definitely embody the characters, I would say. Typically from the new Netflix series, the first season, I'm getting those vibes from the sisters. It's very entertaining because of that, and I think the actual atmosphere of the book is perfect for autumn, so I'm really glad that I picked it up, because if I hadn't, this would have just sat on my TBR until autumn next year. One of those things, like with certain books, I have certain seasons for them, and yeah, this is perfect. I wish I'd read it in October because we get a lot of like descriptions of like pumpkins and things, but I do think it's generic enough that it could go across any time in autumn period to read this book. We do have the murder that's happened. So one of the B&B guests had booked out the whole B&B. She was murdered, and they don't know how it's happened, how it could have possibly happened, considering that they're all witches, and they're just like, well, how did this happen with us being here? The problem is that the police are thinking it's Nora, one of Bryn's aunts, that's done this. And so Bryn is going around trying to prove her aunt's innocence by finding out who actually did it. But Bryn's going through a lot. She's going through a lot of grief. Her husband passed away a year ago. As a result, that's had impact on her magic and things, and it's also causing tension between her and the aunts because, you know, they want what's best for her, but they are very overbearing. We also have an uncle that lives with them all, but he stays up in the attic and doesn't really interact, which I thought was a really fun take. Mad woman in the attic trope that happened a lot in a lot of classics and like gothic literature, so it's really fun to see it actually be like this really kindly uncle that's up there instead. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Like, this is very easy reading. Like, it's not the best mystery I've ever read. I would say the start of the book, I felt like this was like a 3.25. As I've continued reading more of it, it's moved up to like a 3.5 read. It's really cozy, entertaining, nothing that I have to pay too much attention to, but it's got all the vibes that I want from this book. Like it's doing what I expected it to do, and so I'm really happy with that. I'm really liking this. I think some instances here and there where I think things could have been tightened up in the writing. It feels kind of timeless. Like I don't feel like it's got a set time period that this is all set in. Sometimes it feels a bit more modern, and then other times it feels like this is set in the past and we have like certain expectations on women and things like that. I don't know, it kind of like, I wish we had a time frame that this was set in so that we could have a little bit more of a firmer grasp on like the world building that's going on. But the world building isn't the main bit. Instead it's just this really nice fall autumn atmosphere with this mystery that's going on and the witches, and it's just really fun. I enjoy the magic of it. I'm enjoying it more because of the fact that the aunts remind me of the Spellman sisters. I think if it wasn't for that, I would just find them too overbearing as characters and wouldn't really get on with them, but because I'm reminded of that, it's kind of fun. I like that little twist on it. But yeah, it's just, I don't have loads that I can say about it. The writing is nothing amazing. The plot itself, I feel like I have an inkling of who it is, but honestly I haven't been trying to actively solve it. There was one thing that happened at the start that I'm like, I bet you that's important, and it is. We've just had that kind of come together and we realised that maybe this person, what they thought they saw wasn't accurate, but they did see something, and I'm just like, when that all happened I was like, I bet you that is actually something to do with what's happened with this murder, and yeah, I was right. Who it actually is though, again, I have a theory, but it's not like I've been actively trying to solve it, so I don't actually know if it's true. I feel like it is. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, no, I'm liking it. And you know what's been really nice is this month, this will be the third cozy mystery book that I have read. I think out of all of them, writing wise, this is probably my least favourite, but it's still been lovely to read, and I'm really enjoying being back into cozy mysteries. I think it's just across summer, they're just not something I'm going to be gravitating towards. I don't know why that is. It was fine last year, but this year I think I'm just, every single year that's passing, I think I'm becoming more and more of a seasonal reader, which is such a problem because I really don't have summer books. Like there's very few things that I think, oh, you're summer. So I'm gonna struggle if this carries on. We need to stop being such a compartmentalized, but you're in this season, but that's going to cause havoc. You'll have to let me know, do you actually do this? Do you have certain books that you like to read in summer? Because I'm not a summer romance person. If I was a contemporary romance person, yes, that would be perfect for summer, but I don't get on with them. The only couple that I've actually read and kind of enjoyed would be Ali Hazelwood, and even then I think I've read one or two, I don't know, and that was fine, but it's not something I'm going to want to read for like 3 months straight. So yeah, kind of worried about that, but this is perfect for this time of year. I'm really happy I'm reading it. Yeah, it's just so much fun to be back enjoying cozy mysteries, and yeah, this is good. I think this could even get up to a 3.75 depending on how the ending goes. And then for girls, I'm still a little bit behind. I read Frog, that was fine, not my favourite out of it, but I'm very excited by Blue. Very excited by this short story. I will probably read it this evening before I go to bed. Thinking that this is going to be based on Bluebeard, that would be awesome because I'd love to see that done in like a modern take that's aimed at children. Like I'd be very curious for that. But yeah, Frog was fine. Didn't really kind of have any other reactions to it. I read it and I was like, okay, cool, fair enough, and that was it. So I think that was been my least favourite out of the collection, but it's still decent. I think if I had to rate this collection, I don't know, I think maybe like a 3.75 for the collection. Depends on how the last few go, because if that's really good and there's only one that I was a bit like meh about, then this could be an easy 4-star short story collection. But right, my partner is here, he's made me a cup of tea, so I'm gonna go and enjoy that. I will check back in when I've finished In a Company of Witches and wrap up this video. I'm so impressed with how well this Shop My Shelves episode is going. Like, I've had 3 books, no DNFs, which is pretty good. Like, I haven't had that result in a while, I think since I first started this, so that's been amazing. I think giving myself a little bit of leeway this month and being able to just kind of be very flexible in what I choose, like some direction because it has to be certain colours, but otherwise being able to just mood read has been really, really fun for this. Right, anyway, I'm rambling. I said I've got to go. I will see you soon. both books and I've really enjoyed this episode of Shop My Shelves. Clearly, me respinning and getting blue again was clearly the universe indication of like, no, this is the book you need to read. Like, the universe was right, because this was the perfect book to read after We Love You Bunny. I've given this one a 3.5. While it doesn't seem that high, this did exactly what I wanted it to. It gave me the cozy mystery that was very atmospheric with the really good autumn spooky vibes that just work. I really enjoyed the descriptions, as I already mentioned, but also just the witchy elements to it was really good. Those connections to Sabrina, it just made it the perfect book to be reading right now, which meant that I wasn't feeling disappointed in any way. I feel like there was a possibility I could have read a different book, given that one 3.5, and been disappointed in it, whereas this set out to do the thing and it did it. And so this was great. So I'm very grateful that the spinner wheel actually did just stick with blue, because yeah, I'm really impressed with this one. So yes, given this one 3.5, would definitely carry on with the series. I think I would wait till next year autumn though, because these are very much an autumn book, and especially with the Sabrina vibes with the aunts, it just works so well. So I would definitely wait till autumn next year to continue on with the series, but also that kind of works out in my favour anyway, because I've been hearing a few people mention about how Aurora Wallace might possibly be coming back to that series, which if they do, that would be amazing. And then that means like by the time I get round to reading the second one, maybe we're going to be having a third one coming out. That would be awesome. This is definitely a book that I would revisit anyway. I think you could easily read this one as a standalone. It's got a really nice heartfelt ending to it, and it wraps up the story really well. So you could just read this as a cozy little standalone and be absolutely fine with it. I wouldn't say it's the best cozy mystery I've ever read. There are definitely other ones that I think are better, but this is perfect for autumn. If you are ever in the hunt for a good cozy mystery book that has the autumn vibes, yeah, would really recommend this one. So very happy with this. I did finish Girls. I gave this one 4 stars, and Blue was a retelling of Bluebeard, which I thought was so well done, especially for a younger audience. It was adapted in a way that works really well for younger readers, but still had enough of those darker elements that as an adult reading it, I could pick up on all of those things, and I just thought it was so well done. And that's something I really have to give props to for this collection, is the way it's been able to adapt all the fairy tales to modern times for a young audience, but still holding on to those darker elements within the fairy tales. So well done. I really enjoyed it. I honestly think apart from Frog, everything else has just been really solid. And even Frog, I still enjoyed. It just wasn't anything amazing. Like, if I think about, I was really pulling apart the other ones. I could really get the messages from them really well, and like really enjoying those messages. I feel like Frog Girl was like, okay, cool, that was a good little story. There wasn't much more to it. Everything else was really solid, and you know, with short story collections, you always kind of go into it expecting that there's going to be a couple that you just don't like. It's the nature of short story collections, but this one I can say happily that didn't really happen. So yeah, solid 4 stars, would recommend, and I would reread a few of those stories, so I am going to be keeping this one on my shelves. I just thought it worked really well. So yeah, really happy with that one actually, especially because I was worried about this one, because when I first picked it up, I mean, I was intrigued by it. I really liked the writing. Like, I'd read like the first page and I was like, yeah, okay, you're coming home with me, haven't heard anyone talking about you, but you seem really good. And then I found out it was a middle grade, and I was like, oh, maybe I made a mistake. I don't tend to like middle grade. I'm so pleased that I was wrong and that this was a really solid short story collection. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. 4 stars, a 3.5, and of course we started out with a 5-star read. This episode of Shop My Shelves has just been really good. I'm really pleased that I gave myself that extra leniency, and I will say honestly, if it wasn't for the spinner wheel choosing blue twice, technically 3 times, I probably wouldn't have picked up these at all. So it still helped me get some books off of my shelves that I would have been putting off for a while yes, I was going to hopefully get to this one sooner rather than later. Regardless, I'm still really pleased that I had 2 that have been sitting on my shelves for a little while now. I did get this one earlier this year, but this one's been sat on my shelves since last year, I think it was. This is why we do this series, because we want to be reading the book that just keeps sitting on my shelves that could potentially be really great reads, and that is exactly what happened in this episode. So I am so happy with this. I can't say anything more. This was brilliant, and we really did go blue this time. And then I did finish the book that I've been reading on in the background. Haven't spoken about it because it wasn't one for Shop My Shelves. Well, I mentioned that I was reading it, but I just haven't spoken about how I'm getting on with the book. But The Impossible Fortune by Richard Osman, I did finish this one. I'm giving it a 4.5. I really enjoyed this one. I will go into more details in my wrap up because it wasn't the episode for it. It wasn't part of Shop My Shelves, but I am really pleased that I read this one. I thought it was a really solid continuation, and this one's taken place a year later. I think I spoke about this more in the daily vlog because that's when I started this one, and it was brilliant. Like I said in that video how I really enjoyed the start of it. Like it was such a good, just getting back into it, seeing all the characters again, like it was the same. There was kind of two different plot lines going on in this book, and I do feel like they both came together well at the end, and I just had a really good time with it. So I'm very happy I read this one and can't wait to see more from the Thursday Murder Club because honestly I love this series so much. This is one of the cozy mystery series that got me out of a really bad reading slump a few years ago, and since then it's always had a special place in my heart because those characters and everything, they're just great. So I loved this. So it's just been such a solid reading week. Like it's been 9 days. Okay, technically 10 because I started this ages ago, but getting these 4 books read in this video, not DNFing anything. Like this month has just been solid. Like I've DNF'd 1 book this whole month, which is so good for me. And the fact that, you know, these are all been 3.5 or up, that's really good. I'm really happy with this. I'm really pleased with the reading month, how it's going. I'm in a massive reading mood right now. Very excited for next week's reading. I'm just in a good mood. Like, I really am. It's colder, it's getting darker outside, which can suck because, you know, you're starting work and it's dark, you're finishing work and it's dark, and that can be really sucky to deal with. But I also love the colder weather because it puts me in the best reading mood. Anyway, right, I'm waffling on like crazy as always. Thank you so much for watching this video. I think if you've made it this if you've made it this far, then put your favourite colour in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I could honestly ramble on more, but I need to start another vlog. I am very tired, so I know that whatever I say next is probably just going to be nonsense. So I'm going to leave you in peace. Truly thank you for all of you for supporting this channel, for always being here. And an extra special thank you goes out to all of my Patreons for all of your support over there. By the time this video is coming out next week is our Patreon exclusive readathon, and I am so excited for it. I hope you all have fun with that. But right, anyway, I'm going to go. I will see you in the very next video. If you've enjoyed this one, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. My social media links, everyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, everything is always linked below for you. And I will of course catch you in the very next video.